Hey there guys, hope you're doing okay, and today in this video I'm going to be basically just reviewing the games that happened at the weekend in the Scottish Premiership. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first game I'm going to be covering is the early one that took place on Sunday, which was Aberdeen against Celtic. So coming into this game, Aberdeen and Celtic were both coming in with a bit of a bad run of form really, and they were both looking for responses, and especially Celtic I think needed a response after getting absolutely battered by Bayer Leverkusen 4-0 in the Europa League at home. And I think overall the game was very even, but Celtic went on to nick it 2-1 with that late winner from Jota, and they finally now won an away game. It's the first Scottish Premiership game that they've won away since like February, so yeah, that's something that Ange Postecoglou can take from this game. Celtic got off to a great start with that early goal from Furuhashi, and speaking of Furuhashi, you just see the importance of him, and also like the likes of Cal McGregor who they've missed. And you just see how key and important they are to the Celtic team, and how much better they look with both these players back into the squad. But yeah, Kyogo got the early goal, great ball from Turnbull, and Celtic got off to a really good start actually. But as the game went on, I think Aberdeen kind of grew into it, and they eventually got the equaliser from Lewis Ferguson with a corner. Great corner ball from Calvin Ramsey into Lewis Ferguson. Went off his shoulder but went in. And as the game went on, I thought that Aberdeen were the more likely team to win it, but Celtic went on to nick it, as I said, with that Jota late winner. And even though I didn't think they played like really well, Celtic, it was their best performance, I think it's something that Postecoglou will be very happy with, because it's the first like sign of character that they've shown under his like management really, because Aberdeen equalised, and when the chips were like really tough and Aberdeen were pushing away trying to get that winner, they held strong and they were able to eventually nick the winner themselves and get quite an ugly win. But that's something that I think Celtic and Celtic fans will be really happy with. And now going into the international break, Celtic are sitting 6th with 13 points, and even though that's not where they want to be, they're not as far off as the top as people may think they are. They're only 6 points off Rangers, and maybe they can try and start this run going after the international break. Whereas Aberdeen, they're kind of in a bit of a rut right now really. They've not won in the last 9 games. Stephen Glass and his Aberdeen players will be really low on confidence now, but I think an international break is kind of something that they might need and will be beneficial to this Aberdeen squad, and kind of have like a bit of a reset period and go again after the international break. Now, speaking of Celtic, let's talk about their rivals Rangers now. Well, they got a huge win against Hibs 2-1, where they beat 10-man Hibs 2-1, with Morelos and Roof getting on the score sheet, and for Hibs, Kevin Nisbet getting on the score sheet. A very champion style sort of performance, saying like, okay, it's getting a bit tough, but we're still, whatever everyone says, we're going to keep going, keep banging at the Hibs door, and eventually we're going to break through. And that's what they did, with Morelos getting that late winner, or not late winner, but getting that late-ish winner. And if you are a Hibs fan, I think you'd be quite, not disappointed, but it's kind of like what could have been with this performance against Rangers, because I think if they did have 11 men on the pitch, it could have been a completely different game really. If Porteous wasn't making a stupid challenge on a Rebo, they could have got a draw here, or they maybe could have even got the whole 3 points. Hibs actually started off really well in the game. They got the early goal from Kevin Nisbet, great ball in from the right into Kevin Nisbet, across the goalie, into the bottom corner. It was a great start for Hibs, and they showed early promising signs, and they were frustrating Rangers really. Rangers didn't really create much, and especially in that first half as well. But as I said, the game completely changed once Porteous got sent off, because Hibs now had like 60 minutes basically with 10 men on the pitch at Ibrox. Rangers were really poor in the first half, but they stepped up in the second half, and I thought it was a much better second half performance. They played a lot more direct, cost Hibs a lot more issues. And to talk about big game players, Kamal Roof stepping up. Great ball from Patterson, who I thought played really well yesterday. And yeah, great ball into Roof with a free header across the goalkeeper, kind of very similar to the first one, but that's what got them level and kind of pushed them on to get the winner. And Morelos got the winner with a great ball from Borna Barisic into Morelos, off the post, and then maybe the Hibs keeper could have done a bit better, Matt Macy, but I think Rangers they kept pushing and they got the goal that they deserved. And yeah, it was a very gutsy champion style performance from Rangers yesterday, and they now sit top of the table, a point ahead of Hearts. And it's, as I said earlier, it's kind of like a what if for Hibs. And now Jack Ross is still looking for his first real points at Ibrox, and he's going to have to wait another season for that. So yeah, great performance by Rangers, and kind of what could have been for Hibs in that game. Another rival transition that we can talk about is obviously talking about Hibs. Now let's talk about Hearts. Hearts have had a really good weekend and just a great start to the season. They're 8 games unbeaten in the league, second in the table currently, a point behind Rangers, and they got the win against Motherwell. It wasn't their best performance, but the game was kind of done as soon as like the first 20 minutes really, because early penalty from Liam Boyce, got his 10th goal of the season. He's been banging them in all year. He's going to have a great season, I think, this season. And also a great free kick from Kingsley. And yeah, the game was kind of done at half time for Hearts and Motherwell. But to be fair to Motherwell, they did give it a go. Good second half performance. I think they had actually had more shots in the game than Hearts, but Hearts were just a lot more clinical. And the Hearts keeper, Craig Gordon, made some good saves. It kind of shows why Craig Gordon is probably going to be Scotland's number one and why he's such a good quality goalkeeper. He kept Motherwell quiet throughout the whole game, made some great saves, and yeah, I think Hearts, even though it wasn't their best, they got the win. They're now sitting second in the table, and yeah, they're just in a great place at the moment. They've got a good little team going on at Hearts. I think they're set up for a really good season this season. Motherwell can take some pride into their performance in the second half. I don't think they gave up. They kept trying, kept plugging away, but I just don't think it was meant to be for them at Hearts. They're currently the only unbeaten side as well in the league so far. And yeah, we're going to see where they're going to be about this season, because the next game after the international break is going to be against top of the table Rangers. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, and we'll see. But never mind the Rangers result, I think Hearts in a good place. I think they'll have a really successful season, especially after the result they've had this past weekend. Elsewhere in the league, St Johnstone beat Dundee 3-1. Chris Kane got a double. St Johnstone have now won 3 of the last 4. Now they're in a good place, and then after going into international break, Dundee still rock bottom, still looking for the first win. It's going to be a tough season ahead of them really. I don't think they're going to. It's just going to be a really hard season for Dundee. St Mirren are continuing their great form, beating Livingston 1-0, 5 games unbeaten now, and back-to-back wins now after beating Aberdeen last week and also beating Livingston this weekend. Ethan Erra, I can't pronounce the last name. Ethan Erra-Hahon. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but he got the goal and the eventual winner for the game. The Livingston goalkeeper, Strycek, I think that's how you pronounce it. He probably should have saved that, and he's made quite a few errors. Not quite a few, but he's made an error quite recently as well in the Rangers game. But I think he's a good quality goalkeeper, so I don't think it's too much to worry about. But Livingston are in a really tough place. They played better than St Mirren, I thought, on the day, but they just can't get the goal in the back of the net. I think they've only managed 3 goals this season so far. And the last game I'm going to be talking about, or the last game basically available really, is Dundee United beating Ross County 1-0. Niskanen, I'm sorry if I got that wrong again, I'm really bad with pronunciations, but he got his first goal for Dundee United at the weekend. The goalkeeper maybe should have done a bit better. Dundee United are kind of going under the radar really, because sitting in 5th right now, they're struggling to get multiple goals, but defensively I think they're really solid. I think they've got, I don't know, but defensively Dundee United are really solid. And another day for Ross County to not forget, because I think they played alright, but it's another L and they're still 11th, basically joint bottom with Dundee. But yeah, they're all the games that basically happened this weekend. Thanks guys for watching, really appreciate it. This channel is basically a channel where we're doing Scottish football content regular basis. Thanks guys for watching. My next video also will be on Friday. We're going to do a preview for Scotland's World Cup qualifying game against Israel. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Cheers, really appreciate it.